Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and today in this unimportant review, we got the Pokemon Select Rayquaza from Jazwares. None of the copyright information's helping me. Jazwares, yeah. Also, you can see on the back of the package, you got all the other characters from the line. But anyways, main reason I picked up this figure, been buying all the Select ones. I try to, if they have like decently articulated Pokemon figures, I tend to lean towards grabbing those. Like I have the figure arts and these ones here. Well, majority of the figure arts. Still missing a few, but they're kind of pricey, so I don't have them. But I think, personally, from what I've experienced with this line, so far, they've been great. Nice alternatives to what we have with the figure arts, especially like the Charizard, because I'd much rather pay $20 for a Charizard than a couple $100 for arguably the same amount of Poseability. And the rest of them have been pretty good, especially like the Articuno I was very surprised with. I thought that was a really sweet one. Greninja was fine, and Charizard was sweet. So I'm hoping Rayquaza is pretty dope, just because I always saw he was a really interesting looking Pokemon, especially being one of like the main ones from his game in particular, which is currently slipping my mind, but I just think he looks sweet. He's a giant Manda demigod thing, and you can already kind of see a problem I'm having. But anyways, for the packaging, primarily black, but you do get Rayquaza on the side here. Same on the side of the package, it just has the image, kind of like you'd see him in promotional stuff for the game. You got a bunch of Pokeballs, you got Pikachu on the top. And other side, same, got some more Pikachu. Top, more black, bottom, League of Mumbo Jumbos. And since we got them already open up out of its cardboard prison, first and foremost, it comes with this stand, which I'm not a fan of. The one thing I think is, well, okay, never mind. I was like, does it look like a Pokeball? Nah, it's just a circle with some more concentric circles on the inside. But how these are held in is it's kind of just pegged in, and then it's a ratchet. But it is super easy to get this thing to pop out. So if you hook this guy into the stand, and then you want to try to articulate it, like everything just starts popping apart. So I suggest you get your stand kind of how you want it. You pose your Rayquaza kind of how you want it, and then you just put it on the stand and try not to breathe on it, because it doesn't take too much effort to get that thing to fall back off. Kind of had the same problem with the Charizard, kind of had the same problem with the Articuno, except thankfully Articuno wasn't that heavy. This guy is a bit of a chonkers. So personally for me, the stand's a bit of a fail. It's serviceable, but in posing this, I think for toy photography, it'd be kind of frustrating to use a stand and trying to get them in the positions. And then if he's in an area with like a lot of traffic, it's just gonna, the shelf's gonna wiggle. He's eventually gonna sag. So do be aware of that. Granted, mine could be a little looser in the sun, but after having, got a kitty here on my knuckle, after having a few of these, it always seems like the bottom here is easily the weakest part. This usually isn't too bad. Articuno was the only one I kind of had a looser one on. This one's fairly stiff, but even that, you can see me rotating it, it's already wanting to pop out. So yeah, for the actual Rayquaza though, it's actually detailed really nice. I like the coloring. The head sculpt looks really good. Eyes are very nice. Just got black with that circle for the pupil. It's got some red teeth with some white fangs. Got the pink for the tons. He has his giant ear fins. And then more of the yellow tribals coming down the back here. For his patterning. Overall, he kind of looks like a bunch of torpedoes hooked together, to be fair. With his fins, very angular. And same with the one on the end there. And he's got his little claws here. More or less, the arms are set up sort of fairly similar to how Charizard was. To be honest, I'd have to get them both together, but I would imagine it's probably using the same parts from that. Maybe even the hands with the bone coloring for the claws here. And he's got this little black section here for the tummy and the inner section there. But oddly enough, it's the only section that has that. Granted, looking at the back, like the package, it's pretty similar. Because even where he's got the black for the joints is kind of where it shows up on here as well. So that's nice. And the overall coloring, I think, is pretty nice. Like him just standing on your shelf is going to look cool. Personally. Like, I think he's just a really interesting looking Pokemon. And yeah, other than that, it's cool. For its articulation, though, it is odd. Super odd. Because for the most of them, it kind of makes sense how you compose them, right? One thing is why doesn't it have a jaw articulation? There is no way to close that mouth, which is something that kind of bugs me a bit. Because you also, well, I guess you can rotate the head. For me, I thought that was kind of glued in, but I now see there's an actual super tight hinge there. So you can't get him to look up and down. But it would have been kind of cool to maybe be able to have the option of maybe having him look like he's trying to bite something if you wanted to have it closed. For the most part, I imagine a lot of people probably don't mind, but it just, again, like the option. Because for the head too, you can rotate it all the way around and it's on a hinge, just like the next, so you can go forward and back. But then, for the rest of the body, it's just rotations. So there's no hinge here, at least from what I could tell. No, there's definitely no hinge. So if you want to pose it, you gotta sit here and rotate everything to kind of get it to do what you want. Personally, I think I would have liked to have seen some ball joints. Because it would have been kind of nice to maybe be able to straighten this guy up instead of having to work out weird angles for articulating. But it's poseable, that's for sure. You can still get quite a decent amount of variety in the positioning. It's just kind of odd. I was expecting to see more, again, ball joints. It's kind of what I'm expecting to see on Tails, and not just kind of what they did with the Figure Arts Frieza figures and stuff for their Tails, where it's just twisting. I imagine the cells are going to be mostly the same for the Figure Arts version anyways. So I can't rag on it too hard, especially for the price point. It's still just nice to just have some poseability to begin with. So if you want them kind of long, it gives you the option. That's for its arms. It's on a, I think it's on a hinge. Yeah, it's on a hinge. So you can go up and down. It can rotate at the bicep. Got hinge at the elbow, so that can rotate. Or go forward and back, I mean. And then rotate. For the hands, can rotate all the way around. And also can go inwards and outwards. So overall, not a bad figure. I think compared to some of the other ones, I think in terms of poseability, it's probably the one I'm least impressed with for how many jointed section it has. Because technically it's more poseable than, say, like Articuno. But I can get Articuno in the more poses that I would prefer to see. More so than this one. Because this one, it's like you're always kind of stuck with it having some kind of bending going on. But I still think it's probably one of the cooler looking ones, to be fair, sitting on your shelf. Especially if they have like the Figma Pokemon figures or the SH Figure Arts ones to go along with it. To be honest, I think the SH Figure ones would actually kind of scale nicely because this thing would be really huge compared next to those guys. So if you guys are into Pokemon, you guys like Rayquaza, I definitely would highly recommend picking this up. Also, we got some figures still hanging out down here. Oddly enough, no Pokemon, but if you guys want to see it next to, like, SH Figure Arts, it's about yay big shins. Kind of slouching a bit. I do have a Figma, if you'd like to see. More or less, she's about the same size as a lot of the Pokemon figures, or the Pokemon characters. So you can get kind of a scale if you wanted to go along with it in terms of having like a trainer with this guy anyways. But that's pretty much it for this video, so help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, and Facebook. Guys, like give up the date with channel, donate, we greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.